you the kind of person who enjoys solving the most complex problems? Do you want to collaborate with some of the best and brightest, people who make each other better every single day? Do you want to see your ideas put to the test in real time at lightning pace? Do you want the power to impact financial markets around the world? Do you want to work for a company that doesn't just facilitate growth, but turbocharges it? If the answer is yes to all of those, then Optiver is a company worth getting to know better, and you should definitely keep watching.
So Optiver started in the mid-80s, just on a trading floor in the Netherlands. Started with a couple of traders who really went in with the objective of what we call improving the markets.
Historically, Optiver has primarily been focused on market making. Our initial focus was on option market making, and now we market make across a variety of asset classes. Now we have 9 offices around the world with over 1,100 employees. In the US, we're headquartered in Chicago, and we're also in the process of building out an office in Austin.
In Chicago, we're currently sitting at 350 people. It's pretty unusual, but our US office is our smallest office. It's the biggest market opportunities, there's the most going on here. So it really just shows what a massive room there is for growth in the US. I remember when I first looked up the job for Optiver, it said proprietary market maker. The first thing I looked up was, well, what is proprietary? Proprietary just means that we're just trading with our own money. It means we don't have investors, we don't have to appease external clients. We're just all about improving and working for ourselves. So what is a market maker? Perhaps you can just think of a market maker as something like a supermarket. So a supermarket is buying enormous amounts of, say, fruit and vegetables from farmers, and it's selling them in small amounts to consumers like you and I. So a market maker is someone who is going to sit in there and find out what the price that you should be buying and selling to make those transactions happen as smoothly as possible. Ends up being pushed by supply and demand. So what should the price be? Well, if there are a lot of apples that are being supplied by the farmers, then perhaps the price of apples has to go down to be able to sell those apples to consumers. And conversely, if all of a sudden there aren't many apples, the price of apples is going to have to go up, just to make sure that you match all the buyers and the sellers in the market. So I think there are 2 major areas where what we do contributes to the functioning of the global economy. There's the constant competition to get the trades, which just means that the bid-ask spread and the price you actually have to pay to buy and sell things just gets driven down and down and down by the competition in the market. A market maker has a second main function, and that's just making sure it can provide liquidity at all times. So even when the market is under great stress, people are going to need to do trades. So it's a market maker's job to always be able to provide a price. So no matter what's going on in the world, a market maker will say, I will take your risk.
Optiver's mission is to improve the global financial markets. It's about making sure that those markets are fair and efficient and transparent for everyone who participates.
So I think the thing to realize here is the way the markets work impacts everyone, whether it's you're investing via your 401k or your grandparents have a pension fund or whatever it is. And the more efficient the markets are, the easier it is for whether it's individuals or large corporations or whatever it is to effectively and ideally cheaply execute the trades that they want to execute.
In addition to being smart, what's more important is that Optiver employees are collaborative, they're highly competitive, and everyone here enjoys solving very complex problems.
So over the last 20 years, there's been a large shift in the type of people that are working in this industry. Whereas it probably used to come more from the finance and accounting background, it's now shifted much more towards the science and the engineering background. Now, if I take one of my trading teams and have a look at who I have there, I can have an actuary, a physicist, a chemist, a mathematician, a computer scientist. Basically, we're looking at all of these scientific problem solvers to make the best team.
There is no set sort of academic background that we look for. We tend to look in STEM because we most often find people that fit that bill in there, but we have outliers outside of that don't expressly fit it, myself included, being an economics major.
So we're looking for individuals that have that kind of entrepreneurial spark or want to have that ownership and responsibility and kind of take things on themselves. Someone that's intellectually curious, someone that is thoughtful in the way they go about things, someone that's just generally has kind of a intellectual capacity to learn and grow and explore, and someone that's keen to solve problems. Obviously, we're a very competitive industry, so it helps to find people that have a bit of a competitive bone in their body. So I think the lines between engineering and trading get blurred, especially when you're starting to look at strategy or kind of how we develop the nuances and the various kind of specific elements of our trading strategy. Solving the trading problem is everyone's concern.
You don't need to learn about options trading at university to come and learn it at Optiver. We'll teach you about options trading. I see the role of a trader being broken into two main components. One of them is when the markets are open, you're managing risk, you're reacting to anything that could happen in the market. Then there's the other aspect of the job, which is the improving the strategy and improving the company. If you look at where a trader is sitting, he's sitting in front of 6 screens filled with numbers. To anyone who walked past who didn't know what you were doing, it would look a bit ridiculous. But in the end, all of those numbers are very important. We're trying to work out under different circumstances, what risks are we running? How is our trading going? How are our systems performing? So as a trader, you have to always, under any kind of pressure, stay rational, make sensible decisions, make changes, and be ready to move on. So our teams are largely broken up into focuses on products. So as an example, we have an S&P team. To run an S&P operation at the scale we run it at, we have traders on the floor. We have traders upstairs who are focusing on the phones and speaking to the outside world. We have traders who are focused on the system performance. We have traders who are focused on the risk management and the position management. One of the best things about trading, well, for me, was coming into work every day. While I could prepare all I wanted, you never know what's going to happen. I didn't know if the market was going to be very busy that day. I didn't know if we were going to have a big downtick, we'd have to react and adjust our position. So during the trading day, it's very important that you can stay very flexible. There's an intrinsic excitement to not knowing exactly what you're going to be doing on any given day. So the training for our full-time hires lasts 10 weeks. And the training for our intern is similar to 10 to 12 weeks, depending on whether you come in as a rising junior or a rising senior. We have training courses throughout the year. Our biggest training classes are after the summer. So our full-time hires, they actually focus on the two main areas of the simulated trading and the options theory, because we know that they're going to be stepping onto a desk within 8 to 12 weeks, and we wait for their projects to begin once they hit their desk. And what you find at Optiver is we basically look at all the things that are going to be really important for you to know to be able to be a trader, and we get those into you in really short order in either your internship or when you start as a full-time hire. So in the options theory course, we'll be diving into all the Greeks, we'll be diving into risk management, we'll also be diving into some of the more practical things that you're going to face on the desks. So during our training, a big part of it is going to be the simulated trading. So in the simulated trading, we really want it to be just like a real life experience. So you're managing your own prices, you're managing your own trades, you're devising your own strategies. Some days you're going to make money, some days you're going to lose money. So it'll be just like trading as if you're in the real market, except your orders don't actually hit the real market. So during your internship, we give you one major component that we don't need to give you when you come in as a grad. We make sure that you work with a desk on a project that they will be speccing out to try to improve their desk. So what you find on any trading desk is they're always hungry for resources to try to improve their desk. In the end, the real goal of this for that trading desk will be to make sure you have a successful project that gets delivered and is used in the real market. It's very satisfying to see something you've worked on paying off on a desk in such a short amount of time. So something's very important within markets is that we stay compliant with all the regulations. So before you hit the desk, we'll make sure that you've done all of your Series 57 exams and that you're ready to trade within that environment. So once you finish your training, you'll be assigned to a desk and you'll become part of a team. And within that team, you'll straight away have trading responsibilities. So that could mean you join a team that has some smaller products and you'll get to own those products with the oversight and the help of more senior traders. Or you could join a really big desk that trades a huge product and we'll carve out a little piece of trading responsibility for you where you can really contribute to the team. Now when you start as a full-time hire and you hit the desk, you'll be surrounded by senior and junior traders alike. And in the end, it's the senior traders' jobs to mentor you and get the best out of you as possible.
I think first and foremost, Optiver is a trading firm. An important part of that is the technology, Indeed, technology is not just kind of a means to an end. Technology, we believe, can actually be a core part of our competitive advantage. It's a building block for us being a successful trading firm. So what does an engineer do at Optiver? At the end of the day, they're just solving trading problems, but in practical terms, it can be a pretty wide range of things. It might be working on our data infrastructure, where we're capturing tens of terabytes of data every day and figuring out ways to store it and figuring out ways to build tools on top of it and APIs on top of it to give quant researchers, traders, other software engineers or data scientists ways to backtest strategies or do some sort of analysis on how we're trading. It might be building low latency systems, so optimizing down to the nanosecond, working kind of on that level, on that interface between software and hardware, where you're thinking about the speed of light, you're thinking about physical distances between things. As our scale grows and as the complexity of our trading systems grow, we're really putting a tremendous amount of focus on thinking about how do we stay in control, how do we make sure that we're adding to the integrity of the financial markets rather than subtracting from that, how do we make sure that we're really a leader in terms of risk management, a leader in terms of automation risk management. And at the end of the day, the way we do that is by architecting very simple, robust solutions to this kind of complex, messy space of risk mitigation within the trading world. So I think the unique thing about working as a software engineer at Optiver is a combination of how we work and what you work on. So on the how we work side, we're a very flat, very collaborative, very open organization. So you're going to be working with senior engineers, senior traders, people that have been working in these areas for, in some cases, decade or more, and they're not hiding anything. They're not trying to only give you what you need to know. They're open to answering whatever questions you may have. And then the second part of it is what we work on and the things that we have people work on that I think is unique compared to other industries and even in a lot of ways compared to other trading firms is we put people on solving the most important problems, and we allow them to do it in a very iterative, very feedback-heavy way. So, whether you're an intern or a new grad hire, chances are within a week or 2 weeks, you're gonna have code running in production. And we really emphasize this iterative way of building things because you get feedback quickly. When you make mistakes, you learn from them. Hopefully you don't make them again. The traders that are using your systems are right there. The quantitative researchers that are using the models that you're working on are right there. Our data scientists are sitting right there. So you really get to interact with the users and the other people that are working on the systems. If I talk about tech training, there's really 3 elements to it. So we'll start with, there's the tech boot camp. So you'll go through a week-long boot camp where you'll get to meet other senior engineers at the firm, team leads, project leads, and it'll really lay a foundation for you to understand how our systems work, who builds them, why we build them that way, and really what are kind of some of the fundamental principles that back the design and everything else about our trading systems. So during the tech bootcamp, you get exposure to all the different teams. On top of that, all of our new engineers get to go through an option trading theory class. So this is more or less the same class that our traders go through. You'll learn a lot of the theory behind option trading. You'll get to do some simulated trading. And then the third part, which I think is kind of the beginning of the rest of your career at Optiver and probably the most important part of your development, is the very hands-on experiential type of learning that you do once you complete the boot camp and the option training. You'll be put onto your team, you'll get to meet your team lead, you'll have a mentor, and you'll just start working on projects right away. And you're going to be surrounded by other people that are working on these projects, other people that have been in similar situations to you. They're going to be constantly giving you feedback, guiding you, showing you the ropes, and really in this kind of experiential part of your training is when things really start coming together. I think both for campus hires and for interns, we go through a pretty similar team assignment process where essentially we'll kind of present what the different teams are, and then we'll kind of solicit interest from our new hires to get a sense of kind of what are they most excited about, and then we go back and we look at kind of where are the biggest needs across the teams. Yeah, essentially try to map those two things onto each other. So from the moment that you start at Optiver to the moment that you join your team takes about 5 weeks, and then from there we have about a 90-day program that you go through once you're already on your team, where you'll have kind of rigorous check-ins with your mentor, and you'll be given very concrete feedback that kind of integrates you into the kind of day in and day out work cycle of how we do things here.
You can think of Optiver like a sports team. So if take basketball, for instance. The best basketball team has someone who knows how to rebound the ball, it has someone, hopefully a lot of people who know how to pass the ball, some people who can shoot the ball, but overall, it's a collection of people who work very well together and have complementary skill sets. I very much view trading in the same way.
Consider us sort of the equivalent of a pro sort of football team or sports team. That we are looking for world-class people in all of these specific endeavors, but everybody's also playing their part, knowing that really it's the engine firing on all cylinders that helps us succeed over time.
I think the key thing that we focused on over the years is to develop kind of a unique culture that focuses on this inward collaboration and outward competition.
So while teams are not necessarily competing against each other, they are always competing against this ideal goal and aiming to achieve that and be the best at what we do in every single way.
You know, whether you've been here a year or 2 years or 5 years or 10 years, there's a lot of things at each of those phases in your career you can be doing to add to the team, to add to our ability to compete externally in the financial markets.
I think the thing that defines the most successful people at Optiver are the people who realize they can take as much responsibility as they think they can handle. It's nothing for a 1-year person or a 1.5-year person to be calling meetings and driving new initiatives. Because in the end, it's about having a good idea, getting buy-in from people, and pushing it forward yourself. So if you go to any company's website and you look under their values or what their culture stands for, they will all put teamwork and collaboration. So at Optiver though, we try to make it a really first-class value. The biggest driver to everyone's compensation at Optiver is the profits of Optiver. So we are incentivizing everyone to not just look after themselves or do their own thing, we're incentivizing everyone to try to improve the whole firm. The people who do best at Optiver are the people who think, how can I improve the floor? Or how is what I'm working on going to improve another desk?
So in essence, we're trying to give individuals the upside of the firm's performance. So if the firm does amazingly, we want individuals to have a share of that. So if the firm has, you know, 2x, 3x, 4x performance a given year, you know what that means for your individual remuneration or what that means for your bottom line.
I think when you look at our results, we're number one in almost everything we trade. And we do that by constantly focusing on improving. Every single year we look at how we did in the previous year, and the next year's goal is to do better. So now you're probably wondering, how do I get a job at Optiver? Well, firstly, you'll need to put in an application. Then we'll send you some challenging technical tests to try to pass your way through. So in the technical assessment part of our interview process, we're going to be trying to work out, are you the kind of problem solver that will fit in really well at Optiver? So we're going to have speed maths tests, we're going to have pattern recognition tests, we're going to work out what kind of an engineer you are, all just so we can work out, will you be a good fit at Optiver?
There is a technical assessment where we'll ask you to write some code to just give us a sense of kind of your basic engineering and problem solving skills.
If you get through that, you'll get to speak to one of our recruiters on the phone. So for the phone screens, it's just a quick chance for you to get to know a bit about Optiver and to Optiver to get to know you. So for the last stages of the process, you're going to be meeting a lot of senior people in the organization who are going to be running you through some tests, having some conversations with you, working out your motivations, working out whether you're a good fit for Optiver. For the very final stage, we'll fly you to Chicago. We're going to have you in the office for a day. You'll get to meet lots of senior people. You'll come out to dinner with some of your future colleagues, and then you can make a decision of whether this is the right company for you.
And then the major part of the interview is our on-site interview. So it's not a bunch of riddles. You're not going to be asked some kind of tricky questions where we expect you to know the answer ahead of time. It's really just talking about some more open-ended problems and discussing with you kind of how you go about the problem-solving process, how do you go about designing solutions.
At Optiver, we really value your time and we really value our time. So you can expect from the time that you put in an application to the point that you have a job offer out to be under 3 weeks. In the end, Optiver wants you to be as successful as possible. And part of that can be like helping you out with things, and we have lunches and we have a coffee bar. You can do international trips to other offices. In the end, all of those things add up to a nice workforce. So an important part about any job is the people you work with and enjoying your time with them.
Socially, there's always a lot going on. There are always sports activities going on after work, whether that's soccer, basketball, tennis. There are trivia leagues that people are involved in after work. I've been in a trivia league since I started here at Optiver. Optiver also puts on lots of different events throughout the year. Most people's favorite is probably Optiver Weekend, which is in the fall, and we all go to some location for a weekend to get to know each other better and improve our team building skills.
Yeah, in the summer we provide housing for interns. We have a chock-full calendar of all sorts of events to try to get interns to learn about Chicago and learn about what it means to live here and kind of what life might look like here, joining as your first-time professional career.
So at Optiver, I think work-life balance is pretty well guided by sort of people's own appetite.
So, the goal is people are in the office, they're excited about being here, we're not forcing anyone, we're not twisting anyone's hand.
Our opinion is that it's really up to people to set their own barometer there of how much they want to be sort of putting into sort of the work at hand. That knowing that there really is backing to sort of step back and guard their own sort of mental well-being and everything else. That there are people that will work on a project on the weekend that's of their own doing. But there are also people that come in sort of during the usual business hours and come and go, and both of those are sort of acceptable for us here. We want to make sure if people are going above and beyond and having an impact on the sort of core business operation and increasing profits, that we reward them for that, and they're free to do that. At the same time, that's not a core expectation that everybody has to do.
And I think the goal of all of these is just to reinforce the overall culture, this culture of people interacting with each other, this culture of people feeling bought into the company, this culture of people feeling like the company cares about the individuals, and the individuals are incentivized to kind of care about the well-being of the company because we're all kind of part of this thing together.
So when I was in your guys' shoes and I was looking for work, the thing that I really wanted to make sure that I didn't have was monotony, boredom, following a process, rigid hierarchy structures. Now at Optiver, we don't have any of that. The job's very exciting. You'll get as much responsibility as you can take. You will never have Monday-itis. Every Monday you're going to wake up and say, oh wow, I've got all this stuff to work on.
As a new grad, you will without a doubt learn more in the first 12 months working at Optiver than you did in your 4 years or however long it took you to finish your last degree. You're going to be excited to wake up every morning and continue on that journey, to see what the day holds, to see what kind of cool new things you're going to get to do and to learn, and the types of ways you're going to be challenged.
There's something incredibly fulfilling about pushing yourself and pushing the people around you to be the best that you can be in your industry, and that is something I look forward to every day. There is truly never a boring day at Optiver.
So at Optiver, we're only as good as our rate of improvement. And the way you get the fastest improvement is to get the best people in the door. So we're always looking for inquisitive, hungry problem solvers to join our team.
We have a long track record of growth, of improvement. So you're getting to come in with this kind of entrepreneurial opportunity into a place where you're going to be backed by, 3 decades worth of success, 3 decades of experience. So I think it's a very unique combination of essentially unlimited upside and also a ton of support and a ton of backing to accomplish the types of goals that we're all looking to accomplish.
There's no, oh, we're number one, that's good enough. It's always, we're number one, we measure ourselves and we try to get better.